Hey, Genius Leaders. I'm here with a solo episode about a collaboration tool that I seriously believe should be a legal requirement for any workplace that has more than one person in it to operate. So, this is a tool that implementing or even trying out once can really help improve your personal well being, your relationships within work and outside, productivity of a team, and ultimately success of the company. So this is a tool that I want you to seriously consider if you're not aware of it yet or are not practicing it so far. And this tool is so-called Guide to Me, or sometimes it's called Owner's Manual, Personal Owner's Manual, or there are some other names like Manual to Me, etc., etc. So preparing for the episode, I actually checked who came up with it, and it was a professor, Ben Datner, Dattner. He did his PhD in industrial and organizational psychology from the New York University, and his PhD was about analyzing the relationship between narcissism and fairness. He also studied the you know, effects of trust on negotiations, etc. So quite an interesting background of the guy, and he's doing consulting right now, really helping teams perform better, knowing everything that can knows from the individual psychology, but also organizational and psychology and team dynamic. And I can tell that this guy knows a lot, given that he has come up with this tool. Its tool is brilliant in its simplicity and so effective because of that as well. And best of all, you can actually have a lot of fun with it. And I absolutely love that part as well. So, back to me. I will not provide you templates here because there are so many. You just Google Guide to Me and you will see dozens of different templates of various web pages with a lot of different versions of questions that you can ask and answer there. So I encourage you to come up with your own manual template that you can use within your teams, in your relationship with your spouse, with your kids, etc. I seriously believe that it can help whatever communication, collaboration scenarios that we are engaging in. So let's look into what it is about. It's usually a series of questions. Usually you try to fit them all on one page. So you create blocks in the template. Visually, you create blocks. The blocks have their titles, which are those questions that the person needs to answer, and they need to fit their answer within those blocks. And the goal of having it brief is that it's easy to use, easy to refer to. And how you use it is that if everyone fills out, so let's take a professional context right now. So a team sits down individually, gets this template that everyone has the same questions. They fill out those questions about themselves. And I'll walk about what those questions are about there. And then they share those with each other. They usually present it in a meeting. That's the best way to do it, so that everyone gets to hear the answers of their team members. And ideally, you then store those filled out Guide to Me templates of each team member somewhere that is easily accessible for everyone, so that people can refer to those answers in their collaboration throughout their work together. I'm right now talking about that. It's really on top of my mind because I'm using this tool in the teamwork or in the group work that I'm having in the course that I'm teaching. So at the Reykjavik University here in Iceland, I'm teaching at the business department, second year bachelor students right now, so undergraduate students. And it's a course on leadership and effective teamwork. It's a small one, it's one credit only, so it's not a huge amount of hours that we're spending together. But I really wanted to get them to um, at least get acquainted with a lot of practical tools that they can use in their journey, both while they're still studying and, of course, in their workplaces now, because many of them are studying and working at the same time, but then also in the future during their career. And the first group session included the discussion of Guide to Me. So there are teams between 7 and 8 people sitting together. What I did with them is that I grouped them semi randomly, so they could sign up with one person. So they had a pair of person they have chosen. So that's usually somebody over theirs. But then I randomly teamed up 3 to 4 pairs together. So they have someone on the team whom they know, whom they trust, whom they have a good relationship with if they sign up as pairs. But then they also most probably have someone who have they not interacted with, even though they have been studying for a year already together, and they need to figure out how to really work with those people. So that was very intentional because that's how usually our workplaces are. We might have someone we know there and we have a good chemistry with, but then some people are not. And I forced them to go through the Guide to Me exercise together. And it was brilliant and so fun to read their reflections on that. So every group has to have one person summarizing their session for me, and that's their personal individual essay. And it was so interesting to see how different groups addressed those that part of the session, the exercise with a Guide to Me. You can directly sense some dynamic there where there are some cool person, and depending on how they react, the rest of the conversation is guided by that, and so on. So it's a very fun tool that I'm just thinking about a lot right now, and I'm seeing how that has helped them continue the work together throughout the course. So I do want to bring that to you so that you can bring it to your workplace, your study place, your family, etc. So let's look at different categories there. What you can talk about and can fill out. As I said, there are millions or at least dozens of different templates that you can use. So for my template for the students, I picked and chose several different questions from different templates and my variations of some of them. Something that my husband is using with his students because he's a professor at the same university. So it's a bit of a mix and match of different things. But I've broken it down into 4 categories. One is intro facts. So there are the very simple questions. My name is. Then I've chosen to ask them to say 3 things that they want their teammates to know about them. So 3 things I want you to know about me. And it was fun to see how differently people access that. Someone would talk about their something very specific about them, how they, for example, prefer to study, or maybe some life-changing experience of theirs that really defined them. Some people chose to talk about what they like, what kind of sports they're playing, where they live, what kind of pet they have, etc. So this is just something to open up, to start showing more of a the personal part of you. And again, I'm not saying tell me about your family, because not everyone is willing to talk about their family. But so you can have this more personal question, but making it generic enough so people can choose what kind of personal details they want to share in the context of the team that they're talking to. So I think this is a very nice one because that can really help people connect, find some similarities, and that's something that a lot of groups have reflected on among my students, that they found they have a lot of, they were surprised to find so many similarities and something that connect them all, and that directly affected the group dynamic and the vibe within that team. So that can be a powerful question, but it can also be very fun. Since they're studying and not everyone is doing the same thing for the same reason. So I actually added the question that I saw from my husband. I am doing this degree at the university because. And that could be because I want to get a high pay job, or because I want to know how to do business in the right way, because they're at the business department, etc. You can use the same question about the work, right? If it's a new project that you're kicking off and you're doing the Guide to Me with a project team, you can ask, I'm excited about this project, or I agreed to join this project team because, or if it's about the workplace and the department team, or functional team, whatever it is, you can say, I'm motivated to work for this company or on this project or in this function because. So you can really start gauging what is the motivation of people. And for the leaders, it's so important to know that, because that will help to motivate people. That will help you to find the keys on how to really bring every person on board and keep them energized and engaged in the work that you're doing together. Then also ask them to share what is their proudest achievement so far is. And for some teams, it was uncomfortable to share that. And again, I have gauged that within the dynamic. If there was some kind of cool looking people who looked skeptical or even said something skeptical, or their body language was doing that during the session, then people were a bit more shy to share the information like this. What are they proud of? What are their achievements that they think of when they hear this question? Again, you can see what people value, what people see as accomplishments. As a leader, it's super valuable information for you to know so that you can actually help people stay on track, stay on board, stay focused, and feel fulfilled within the role that they're having within the job tasks that they receive from you. Then I had a category of ways of working. So they're kind of overlapping the following three categories, but I just decided to try to make it a bit simpler for the students. So one question is things that help me focus are, and I gave them suggestions, think about your environment, what kind of tasks are easy for you to focus on, etc. So they could share those things. It was easy or interesting to see that a lot of students prefer working in a quiet environment, but quite some actually, there are some at least, who really want to have someone nearby. So even if it's listening to music, sitting with the headphones and being silent, but having someone in a physical presence who is also studying, motivating them to study. And just knowing those differences can really help you decide how to place your team members. If you're building a new office or you're redesigning your office, that can also help you understand, okay, how should I actually make this office so that people feel productive in it? It's the same with the tasks. How can you present those tasks, etc. So I hope you see, like, it gets you spinning, your wheels spinning, or like, oh my God, there is so much value in knowing those things about the people whom I work with or who work for me. Then another question I suggested is, I get productive when? And then it's a bit more into detail going into the environment. So whether it's noisy or quiet around me, because I know a person who used to, who loves sitting in bars on Friday nights to work with on his laptop. And he really struggled with COVID when suddenly we were supposed to sit at home. He would switch on the web cameras from Japan. So Tokyo city views, so that he would see the movement, hear the noise of the streets of Tokyo so that he would be able to focus. So it's important to know it for ourselves, about ourselves, and for the others to know how we work. Also, whether you're productive more in the morning, afternoon, evening, at night, etc. Whether it is in collaboration or working alone. So there are so many things that we can actually reflect upon, and just knowing it for ourselves can make our life much easier and much more fun. So there's value even without sharing with the team, I see. The next question is the one that has been so valuable for me to understand for myself, first and foremost. When I'm stressed, and then you fill the blank. And here you can talk about how do you behave. So for me, for example, I get snappy. If someone is pushing me and I feel like I don't have a choice or have a say, I get snappy, I push back, and I get stressed, and I feel like there is no time. If you give me the perception of time, even if it's like, okay, I'll get back to you or call you back in 5 minutes, think about it, and then we can discuss. That gives me the space to not get stressed. And it's such a huge difference, really, to me, that communicating that or being aware of that myself has helped me so ridiculously much in my career, in the side projects I've been having. And then communicating that with team members has really helped a lot as well. So, for example, at some point I was doing film festivals, Ukrainian film festivals in Sweden. And I had people who were just like me, volunteering their time and effort to do that with me, to pull off that quite a big project. And I communicated that, especially because there was one person who joined who was a friend. So we had that dynamic, but then suddenly I was kind of a project manager of this film festival project, and she would be helping me with some specific issues. So I told her, like, okay, I get snappy if you tell me, like, you need to decide now. Here is the idea, here are the facts, now. Take me, give me the decision. Give me time. So the next question here is, this helps me back to balance when I'm stressed. So here you can share, like I did with that friend, for example. Give me time, give me a perception of time, so that I have my couple of minutes to go through everything that you have presented and give you my opinion, take a decision, etc. So valuable, and it definitely has helped us to keep the friendship throughout the project, because she realized, like, okay, I'm snappy. I probably have pushed a bit too hard, or I was too excited and enthusiastic, because that was her pattern. If she gets an idea, she wants to pour it out at you and she wants to implement it directly. And I was like, whoa, 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 hold back. I need some time to process this. So she was aware of my patterns. I was aware of her patterns. We were managing to go through this communication in a healthier way without hurting our relationship. So what is your pattern when you're stressed? What can help you get out of that? For my students, a lot of them said that, for example, taking a walk or going for a gym session, or listening to some specific kind of music, that those things would help them get back to some kind of balance. So again, super valuable to know in a team, if you spot some team member of yours having those patterns of being stressed. My husband doing the same for me. If he sees that I'm stressed, he's like, honey, take your journal, go to the bedroom, meditate, write some stuff in a diary. Oh, I've got it. I've got it. I have family stuff on me. Go. So he knows those patterns and he knows what will help me. So the next category that I provided for my students was communication. And here it was the best ways to reach me, the worst ways to reach me. So here you can also say, I usually in the workplace, I try to do individual work in the morning, or I'm not available via email within those hours, or I check my emails twice a day at this hour or at this hour. So all those things that can help people understand that how to reach you out in a good way, in a respectful way and non-stressful way, but also effective, so that they actually get from you what they want. This is the place where you can play around with those. And communication / collaboration. Here, there are a couple of things that you can ask. So, for example, I best receive critical feedback, and then you fill the blank. So here you can share the time when you're a bit more open to receiving stuff like that, or the phrases that can help you to not get triggered, or what kind of environment you should be to be more receptive to feedback when it is something that you're not doing the best way, etc. Then a question that can be fun for a lot of people, and it can also unite a lot of people. 3 things that annoy me a lot. And actually, for my students, I capitalized a lot. And quite some groups discussed that they are super annoying for them when someone doesn't show up on time, when someone doesn't do something that they have said that they would do, or don't contribute to the group work, etc. And that led to completely different discussions in the next exercise that they did, that was about the team collaboration rules. So suddenly it was super easy, like we respect each other's time, we do what we promise to do, etc. So this question can really show the values and drive those kind of conversations as well for the team. How do we collaborate? How do we show that we care about each other and our common goals, etc. And then I had a couple of more. For example, the ways you can support my work. And here you can, for example, say, do you need a recognition, or do you need to be left alone to be focused? Do you need time to think before you answer, like I do, especially when I do not get stressed? What makes you feel valued as a team member? What makes you feel seen and respected, etc.? So this was a lot of questions, but again, you can choose and pick and have fun with that. So I have a client who was doing a kickoff for a team that she's working in, and she chose a question of my pet's name is, because she knew that everyone on the team had a pet. And that really connected them, that brought fun to that. They are more open to share about their personal life from this perspective of knowing that, okay, that's something that we have all in common. We have pets, we have those furry family members that we care about. And that's a beautiful way to connect. So you can really pick and choose the different questions that you use. So how do I use this information? So as I said, first of all, sitting down with these questions and doing it for yourself, even if you never ever share that with anyone else, this will make your life a completely different story. Getting the self-awareness of your patterns, of how you function, what gets you stressed, what gets you calm, how do you get productive, what annoys you, etc. It will make it so much easier for you to work in a way that feels good to you, and design your days as much as you can, of course, within the flexibility that you have in your role, in a way that actually helps you thrive instead of surviving and just really trying to, hustle through the day and hate it the whole experience. So filling it out alone is a super valuable exercise by itself. But then what I am doing is that I'm using it, as I mentioned, with the teams, with the project teams that I do. Unfortunately, I didn't know about this tool while I was still a project manager back in Sweden. um, where I would have bigger teams who cross-functional, etc. I would have loved to use it there, honestly, because it's so brilliant. So this is one of the ways of using it. Now in my company, when I was hiring people for multifunctional jobs, mm, with whom I knew that I would need to interact in many different aspects of my business, this was an important part for me. I actually asked people to fill out the guide to me as a part of their application process, job application process. And then I use that information in the interview. So I try to kind of understand and say like, okay, for example, here you said this is, if I take this friend who was in film festival with me as an example, if she would have written in the job application for working for me, okay, just kind of combining those two examples together now. If she would have written, I get really enthusiastic and I want to get stuff done as soon as possible or try the idea out as soon as I get it. I would read that and in the interview, I would say, okay, Marie, Ola, whatever. I see that this is your pattern. My pattern is that I need time. Do you think we could find the way to work? How would it be possible for you to work on your ideas without stressing me out? How can we establish communication channels? So already in the interview, we were discussing those things, and I was understanding, will it be okay for me? Will it be possible for me to work with this person? Will it drain me completely trying to adjust to their way of working, or will we be able to create some systems, structures, processes for dealing with ideas, for communicating with each other, etc., that will help both of us? So in the hiring process, guide to me can be a super valuable tool. And I think this is one tool actually that is missing in the hiring process a lot. When people are evaluating the culture fit or culture add, guide to me can be a huge benefit. Knowing the answers to those questions can be a huge benefit to make an informed decision about how to, like whom to employ. And then when you do employ the person, having that as part of the onboarding process is super valuable as well. When you see that, okay, there are some mismatches, there are some things that are different in the preferences, in the communication ways, etc., within our team, and the new member bring it up, start discussing that in the next team meeting, etc. And then, as I mentioned earlier, ideally you have those guide to me's filled out and stored somewhere on a common in a common directory where everyone has access to within the team so that they can refer to that. And of course, in the beginning, it might be like people feel like, oh, yeah, I don't want to go there. I just, ask the question my way, whether it's the channel that I prefer to communicate through or a time that I prefer. But if you're really committed to creating a thriving, super healthy, super fun working environment, training your people and forcing them to refer to guide to me so that they slowly know. Of course, I'm not talking about 150 people of a company. All the employees have to know about each other and check each other's. But those teams or those team members who communicate with each other and interact and collaborate on a daily or at least weekly basis, it's very good practice to just open up that guide to me very quickly, see the information. Aha, this person prefers getting the email with the clear information. Oh, this person wants a voice memo. Okay, then I'll just record a voice memo. Because in the end, you're winning. If you're getting the information that you need instead of being ghosted and feeling ignored, you're winning. So it's not about just adaptation to the other person. It's about for us to get what we want and need for our job, for us to keep being productive and move ahead. So hopefully, then you're really working with that tool, getting to learn about each other's preferences, characteristics, etc. And I kid you not, it's a brilliant tool worth millions. I do believe that a lot of companies and teams that implement it um, get to the high performance stage of their team dynamic so much faster. And if you know anything about the team dynamic, there are those stages of like forming, norming, storming, norming, performing. And performing is where you want to be as much as possible because that's where everyone understands the roles, the processes, the common rules, the common values of the team, and they're just really getting stuff done. But to get there, it takes some work. As storming phase, for example, is saying, that's where the conflicts, the clashes start happening because we have not aligned with each other, we don't have the sync yet. And the thing is that if you have a high performing team, so they are in that performing phase, but a new person joins, or any of the team members' context uh, in personal life changes, you roll back as the team to one of the previous phases. And having tools like Guide to Me being integrated in your work processes and culture can really help you to get back to the performing stage quicker. So it's a really brilliant tool. I know I sound like a parent or a parrot or like a broken record, but I just cannot emphasize how much fun you can have and how much value you can get out of using this tool with your team, with your family, with your partner, maybe with a friend that you feel like, oh, we sometimes have tensions. Invite them for a dinner or a drink, coffee, and say like, hey, let's do this thing. And like, of course, if the person doesn't want to, then it's a different question. But if they're open to that, it could be really fun and a fantastic bonding experience that can really elevate your relationship and bring it to the next level. So I hope you're using it already, and if not, please do that. Do not listen to any more episodes of Genius Leadership if you're not trying this Guide to Me tool. Okay, I do hope that you go back to me because I love our community and I love creating the content for you and knowing when it lands, when it really helps you, how it helps. I'm super happy to see when you are sharing those episodes with each other and let me know about that. So please keep that going. But before the next episode, do try out, find a Guide to Me template that you like. Try it out yourself. Let me know which questions you liked, which were difficult, which were super easy, which were enlightening. Um, if you try it, for example, with a spouse of yours, and you can also do it in a fun way that the person, for example, my husband fills out a guide to me for me. So as he perceives me, as if I would be filling it out. And then we compare what I filled out for myself and what my husband filled out as if he was me. That can also show the different perceptions of ourselves, show the gaps where we're not communicating ourselves clearly, when we don't have enough self-awareness, etc. So you can do so much with this tool. And yeah, you hear my excitement. I love it. I would love everyone to use it at least once in their lifetime and hopefully much more and in many different contexts. So go have fun with it. Do your guide to me. If you want, share it with me. I would love to see your guides. And let's keep rocking. Collaborate in a better way, understand ourselves better, communicate our preferences to each other clearer, and with that, really elevating our experience of life together. So, as always, I want to remind you that I see you, I feel you, I love you, and I do believe that these guides can really help us for ourselves and for the others to get us on the path of effective, easeful, and fun collaboration and communication. So go try it out and talk to you next week.